need that. They don't know that they need a security assessment, but part of what is required for meaningful use is once a year they have to do an assessment of security and privacy. So right now, they don't get that. So your best entree is through companies that understand it and are planning for it in the next 12 to 24-month window as that requirement becomes really active. But right this minute, the other one was, I said, we have Wi-Fi in the office. It's great, and my patients love it because they get on their computers and there's no firewall between the EMR system and the Wi-Fi that they're using in the front office. And it's like, holy crow, guys. I mean, really? Really? So, and they just don't know. Is that helpful at all?
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Johnson. I'm with Untangled Solutions. And to your comments about Allscripts, MyAssist, what is your advice to VARs that, we're looking at partnering with different EMR vendors, and most EMR vendors say, well, if you're partnering with us, you're not partnering with any other EMR vendor, even though in a lot of cases the specialties are fairly defined for what they're good at, and you tend to get called in as the IT side to an area where you don't have anything in your bag that's going to take care of that.
Yeah, and that's a tough question. Most of the software companies do require exclusivity. And that's part of what you're going to have to assess, as a reseller. And I invite you to ask them what their plan and their policy is around, do you plan to be here next year? Are you looking for an infusion of capital? Can I expect you're going to be bought soon? And if they say, no, ask them to demonstrate that. Ask for some backup that would give you some level of comfort because they understand you're doing a due diligence process too. And remember, you can always date before you go steady, which is the way we refer to it, and go steady before you get married. You can be a referral partner and not typically have to be an exclusive. So you might, try being a referral partner for a while, going through some of the training without making the huge, financial commitments that are necessary to become a certified reseller, and see how it goes. If you start on the primary care side, you're going to be mostly looking at software that has capability for a lot of different specialties. It might not be the number one product that ophthalmologists go for, or the number one product that cardiologists go for, because there are some very niche specialty products, and by the way, some of those are going to have difficulty getting the certification because interoperability has never been a concern for them. They've been off in their own little world for a while. So in that regard, some of the bigger companies that support multiple specialties are probably better positioned. The Next Gen, Greenway, GE Centricity, those, excuse me, Allscripts to a certain extent. But I think you have to go through a process of determining who's the right partner for you, and dance with, several of them to find the right fit. I mean, they're good companies, but what makes a good partner for us? Again, we partner, but we don't even take referral revenue. But that doesn't mean I don't want to understand the products and, be fairly well versed and be able to make good selections on behalf of my clients. And in my case, and any small consulting to small practice case, remember, you are filling the last mile for vendors because it's very difficult for them to go in face-to-face and sell to the onesie-twosie practices. So that is one way to entree, is ask them about their inside sales effort towards their SaaS implementations, and tell them, you're getting into it and you want to go out there and work with target some small practices and potentially bring in their software for a demo. They're not going to let you demo it. They might eventually, but they're probably not going to let you demo it, and and eventually you might want to. I don't, because I need to maintain my appearance and reality of vendor agnosticism. But try going in that way, and that way you can get a feel for the product, you get a feel for the questions that the doctors are asking, get a feel for the sales reps that you're going to be bumping up against, get a feel for how the company does business.
One more. We're break it in.
Okay.
One more.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Orville Froome, People's Computer Services.
Good morning.
The question I have is, you said the direction is SaaS. How do you overcome the doctor's objection to my data being out there? Is it insecure? How do you overcome that objection?
There's almost a silver bullet for that, and that is if you move your data into a secure hosted environment, you're offloading the majority of your liability for privacy and security. And oh, by the way, if you're going to a vendor software company whose host is one of those SAS 70 environments, as a small practice, even a large practice, you could never afford the kind of security they have deployed, period. You just couldn't. Plus, they will take care of your backup issue for you because they are likely to have multiple sites, so you're going to have the 2 instances of your data that's required.
Right. And how do you deal with the issue of my internet access is down? How do you deal with that?
Most of the SaaS software, the really good software, is not what I would refer to as just internet-based. It typically looks a lot more like a VPN. It requires a pretty big pipe, and the latency issues are not like they once were. And even where I've seen some latency issues, again, this goes to having a really great hosting company. If the doc knows he can pick up the phone and say, you need to reset my server, and they do it, and a minute later, 2 minutes later, he's got the latency issue addressed, they're happy with that.
Right. Well, the question was about where internet access is down, period.
Oh, yeah, that's still an issue. That is still an issue, you know, and until that's resolved via, 4G, 5G, wireless, which eventually, we're moving in that direction too. If you're in a rural area and you cannot get, what is typically, top of the line business Roadrunner speed or FiOS kind of speed, then I don't recommend SAS as an alternative, not yet. But I would tell them to hold off on implementation because they've still got until the end of 2012 to demonstrate meaningful use for the first time.
Thank you.
All right.
You bet. Thank you.
Sorry we cut you off.
No problem.
I got to be somewhere new.
I understand.
All right. Thank you. What a great job. Another round of applause. I mean, Patti was just phenomenal. So, on behalf of CompTIA, thanks for making Breakaway 2010 spectacular. The health IT discussion continues now upstairs in the, if you look on your little calendar here, your little schedule, the Periwinkle room, which I believe is up one level. There's actually lunch there. It's part of our health IT community meeting. It's the health IT community advisory group that put this material together and pulled the speakers together and everything else. So you're welcome to join us up there if you want. But also the key to CompTIA's success is your engagement. Our health IT community is growing, and we're looking for people to be involved. So you know what? Take the initiative, get involved, and reach out to us. We're here to help you. Again, and we'll see you next year in Washington, D.C., Breakaway 2011, and safe travels. Thanks, everybody.